Welcome to a guide on balletcore, its subcategories, and similar aesthetics. My name is Yemi, and today I'll be explaining the definition of balletcore and discussing its history, key elements, inspiration, fashion, similar aesthetics and subcategories, as well as where you can shop for clothes for this aesthetic. As usual, I'll be including alternatives for masculine and androgynous options, and if you have any aesthetic guide requests, let me know them in the comments. Now let us begin. So, what is balletcore? With the help of recent trends focused on femininity and the all-powerful internet, balletcore has finally taken center stage in our world. Balletcore is an aesthetic focused on the visual elements and core values of the ballet community and culture. At its very center lies the feminine and powerful energy of ballet that carries with it a sense of elegance and beauty. Unlike with most aesthetics, however, balletcore isn't meant to replicate the fashion and values of the ballet world, but rather be inspired by it from an outsider's perspective. This aesthetic leans more towards the relaxed athleisure side of fashion in everyday life, but has a romantic, performance-oriented side to it too, thus there being a natural division of the two preferences by people who seek to participate in balletcore. Ultimately though, balletcore could be seen as a rather pretty and feminine take on athleisure. Balletcore aims to combat the limitations set upon the modern-day ballerina, such as what they should look like or what they can wear. Balletcore does stem from a problematic background, and could potentially be harmful to people suffering from eating disorders or mental health problems. However, I think balletcore is being actively used as a means to push against the norm within these communities. Such proof has been found through celebrities like Barbie Ferreira, who looked gorgeous in her most recent balletcore and cottagecore outfits. So if you want to participate in the balletcore aesthetic, please be aware of its toxic roots in glorifying mental health problems and eating disorders. We as a society are still not at a place where we can see inclusion and diversity in the ballet culture, so we must keep in mind that this aesthetic is based off of predominantly white skinny women, and that even though this is changing, it is a slow process. History. To understand the core values of balletcore better, let me give you a brief introduction of the role it has played in fashion in its early years. Ballet first emerged in the 1930s as an art form, usually for the purposes of entertainment for the upper class and nobility. Originally being a male-dominated industry, ballet eventually became associated more with femininity around the 1830s, when a general distaste for men dancing in an elegant art form started increasing. Unfortunately, this shift in attention to women caused a lot of issues within ballet culture, such as various forms of exploitation of young ballerinas. I will link some sources on the history in my description if you want to know more. Some famous ballerinas have even inspired fashion trends centered around what ballerinas wore. An example of this is Marie Taglioni, a ballerina in the 1830s and 40s who became a small star in Europe, causing fabrics, corsets, and even candy to be named after her. And yes, I probably said her name incorrectly. Taglioni was also one of the first ballerinas to wear a fuller calf-length tulle skirt and pointe shoes. In the 1930s, tutu-inspired evening dresses became popular and were made of materials such as silk tulle and chiffon. By the 1940s, ballet had been popularized with the ballet flat silhouette, marking the beginning of the ballet flat era. Key elements. The main values of balletcore are grace, soft femininity, beauty, and a dreamy atmosphere. Because a lot of ballet performances are based on dramatic plays and other media, there is a certain air of surrealism that ties in with the dreamy and angelic aspects of balletcore. Visual elements include ballet performances, ballerinas, ballerina costumes, ribbons and bows, ballet practice outfits and gear, and practice rooms or gothic settings as locations. Inspiration. There are various forms of media to help inspire you and spark new outfit ideas for balletcore. Some of the most notable ones include movies like Black Swan, The Red Shoes, American in Paris, Silk Stockings, The Glass Slipper, and even animated children's movies like Barbie 12 Dancing Princesses. Some celebrities linked to balletcore inspiration are people like Sid Charisse, Audrey Hepburn, and Elle Fanning. Speaking from a personal experience though, I recommend seeing a ballet performance for the best source of inspiration. Color palette. Balletcore consists mostly of pastels and light colors such as soft pinks, light blues, and lilac. As for the neutral colors, white, nude, and black are most commonly used. Fashion. Balletcore's fashion consists mostly of items ballerinas would train in, with the exception of performance outfits. For tops, wear wrap tops and sweaters, cardigans and knit sweaters, bodysuits, subtle corset tops, arm warmers, and subversive basics. For bottoms, wear tulle skirts, sheer tights, flared or normal leggings, wrap skirts, and leg warmers. You can wear satin or silk slip dresses and decorate with outer layers such as earmuffs. Pairing leggings with wrap tops or wrap skirts with bodysuits is usually a go-to look, and adding in some leg or arm warmers helps complete the look. Of course, don't forget ballet flats or ballet-inspired shoes like Mary Jane's. The overall look should remain balanced with athletic and feminine touches, though if you are feeling experimental, you can add more accessories to your outfits. For more conservative or hijab options, opt for light-colored hijabs in the same color as the rest of your outfit, and long-sleeve shirts under dresses and bodysuits. Go for tulle dresses reaching ankle length or calf length. Experiment with wrap tops and sweaters and decorate your hijab with flowers and subtle accessories if you'd like. Balletcore isn't limited only to women, so for those of you looking for unisex or masculine options, consider opting for shirts made of light or sheer materials, ruffles, or subtle gothic details. You can pair some dress pants with a light blouse, and mules or oxfords, or even ballerina-inspired shoes if you're up for it. You can also take inspiration from other similar aesthetics such as angelcore if you feel the need to mix balletcore with something else. Accessories. Accessorize with hair bows, ribbons, and pearls. You can also add dainty jewelry or hair accessories such as flower crowns or rose petal details. Keep most accessorizing minimal as this aesthetic tends to lean towards minimal looks. Keep your hair in a tight bun or half up half down with hair bows or ribbons added if you'd like. For shorter hair, keep your hair looking tidy and away from the face. Similar aesthetics and subcategories. Now that body trends are shifting back from the curvy style to a slim boyish figure, aesthetics like balletcore that support this body trend will become increasingly prominent within society. This means that we will likely keep seeing more aesthetics like this in the future. Though balletcore is similar to aesthetics such as cottagecore, coquette, angelcore, fairycore, and royalcore and its subcategories, it is its own distinct aesthetic with its own subcategories such as ballet academia. Ballet academia, also known as balletic, is an aesthetic that takes aspects of many different forms of academia and ties them into ballet and the world of classical dance. It uses the romanticism of ballet and blends it in with academia. Some key elements of this aesthetic include imagery from classical and contemporary ballet, as well as modern dance and other classical dance genres as well. Ballet academia can vary anywhere from light to dark in terms of dress code and elements. Black Swan can be used as an example of dark or gothic ballet academia, whereas American in Paris could be considered as a lighter version of this aesthetic. To familiarize yourself with this aesthetic, you can choose to consume media of ballet performances and choreographies, memorize dance terminology, and learn more about ballet overall to further understand its history and place in the modern world. To dress in ballet academia, you can choose to dress similarly to balletcore or explore darker and more gothic elements of this subcategory. Light and flowy materials and warm fuzzy cardigans are still recommended, but you can choose to dress in darker clothing and accessorize more dramatically with items such as flower crowns and long ribbons if you wish. This aesthetic is far more liberal and inclusive of different styles of ballet, thus making it a great option if you are not a fan of pastels or the main elements of balletcore. Other similar aesthetics include the coquette, bloomcore, ethereal, morique, romancecore, and certain academia aesthetics, such as romantic academia. I won't be going into details on all of these aesthetics, but if you have an aesthetic guide request, feel free to mention it in the comments. Where to shop? Look for balletcore-inspired outfits in stores like Kitteny, Love Shack Fancy, Dolly Milk, Merlot & Cress, For Love and Lemons, and Selkie. For basic pieces, thrifting and Depop sellers or official ballet stores are great choices. On a final note, please remember that we as a community should remember to keep this aesthetic as welcoming and inclusive as possible to not repeat the tragedies that have happened within the world of ballet. People of all sizes and ethnicities should feel free to participate without judgment, as femininity and this aesthetic is not limited to one group of people. Good luck with your journey, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.